Hey, this is Matt at Killer Panda, the cool, edgy, and tech-focused, high-growth focused arm of brandings.com. And today we want to talk to you about the brand must-haves. These 5 things you must have in your brand for it to succeed. So let's just get right to it. The first one is clear vocalization. With that is, are people able to read your name? Are they able to understand it? Yes, of course, while you're in a naming room or a group with your friends and you're discussing it, everyone knows how to say it because you're talking about it there. But is the lay person on the street going to understand what your name is? A great test of this is to bring it home and then write the name down and ask your friends and family if they can sound it out or say it. It's really interesting because they may be able to break it down in a way that you didn't think of before. And it's very important that you have every possible way of sounding out your brand name before you launch your product. You don't want to find out later that it could be broken down into something that you don't like later. So ask your friends, ask your family. We call it the mom test. Tell your mom what you're doing, or better yet, show her. Second is concise length. Length really does matter, and it goes back to communication of your name. The idea of your name is people need to be able to spell it, people need to type it, people need to remember it. They need to see your name on the side of a building, on a billboard, on a product, and go home and type it into their browser. And the shorter the name, the more people are able to remember it. So remember, think short, don't think long. The next is logo consistency. Like we said, we're the cool tech and edgy side of brandings.com. So if you're going to have a cool tech name, you're going to want a cool logo to go with it. You want, like, a skateboarder is not going to respond to a mom and pop kind of logo. So for instance, let's take a cool name like Boldion, Boldion. It's a bold name. You don't want skinny little letters. You want a big, bold font, a big, bold color to go with it. It's consistency, logo consistency. Again, with let's take Blast a Cold. What is Blast a Cold? Let's say it's going to be relief for someone, obviously, in a cold or flu-like symptoms. You want cool and soothing colors and a cool and soothing logo. You don't want something hot and red because they're trying to get to a state of relief. So something soothing. So brand consistency is very important. The next tip is global expansion. We know your brand, you want to take over the world, right? Who doesn't? So think about what your name means or says in a foreign language. There was, the most famous mistake was Chevy, maybe 20 years ago, came out with a car called the Nova. Well, Nova in Spanish means no, go. So that was a disaster. You don't want a car that doesn't go. So think about where you're expanding. If you plan on being a local mom and pop shop and never expanding your entire life, you're fine. But think about what your name means in a foreign language. It's easy to do, Google Translate, but even better yet, if you can afford it, find out from a marketing company in whichever country you're looking to expand, because there may be even things that Google Translate doesn't get, local slang or something like that, where your name may have disastrous consequences. So find out what your brand means before you expand into that country. And last but not least is .com procurement. The .com domain name extension has become the de facto extension across the world. It's like English is the international language of business. .com is the international domain name extension. Every year, every few months, they're releasing more and more domain name extensions like .menu, .berlin, .whatever. The more extensions there are out there, the more important the .com has become. So those are our top 5 brand name must-haves. So make sure your brand is consistent with all of these. So thanks for listening, and please check us out on Facebook, like us on Facebook. We've got a great blog with more brand facts and tips and traps to avoid. And if you have any questions or comments, post them down below. We'll be reading them and we'll be happy to answer them either through email or with another vlog. And if you have any questions about finding a great brand on our site, please email us at info@killerpanda.com. So info at killerpanda. Thanks a lot for watching, and keep back for more great tips. Thanks a lot.